So the topic of this video and the title is called Tonic Herbs, Poison or Panacea. What I'm going to do in this video is basically outline and explore and demonstrate to you the seemingly oppositional points of views and approaches when it comes to consuming and taking tonic herbs. On one hand, we have kind of the mainstream American kind of usual uptightness, anal retentive approach when it comes to consuming any plants or when it comes to consuming anything that's not coming from your doctor. And then we have a similar approach is kind of your uptight kind of TCM practitioner, which they went to school for however many years and they learned the way and the only way that it can be done, and that's what they're sticking to. And then you have kind of the materia medica in there as well, which maybe only lists a handful of functions for an herb and a handful of situations and conditions that the herb must be used in and a handful of formulas that it must be used in, etc. Yeah, on the other hand, we kind of have this more exploratory, experiential, modern kind of superfood, tonic herb, adaptogen mentality, which has been largely influenced by Ron Teeguarden in all of his books, and then books like Adaptogens by David Winston and Stephen Mames. There's a few other books out there like this. I have a book on rhodiola, I have a book on ginseng, I have a book on gynostemma, I have a few books on reishi, which are all just focusing in on the benefits of a person consuming these herbs regularly and over the long term. And then on top of that, we have a lot of Chinese cooking which incorporates these herbs, incorporates goji berries, incorporates astragalus, what was I going to say, lycium, that is goji, incorporates ginseng, incorporates dongwei, incorporates many other herbs, Phalaenopsis, into their soups, into their broths, into their stocks, and they consume that as a food. Yet when we go back to the TCM point of view, they say, oh, we should only take this tonic herb in this combination at this time and under this guidance, and you shouldn't take it for all of these reasons. It should only be formulated in this way, and the list is all these things, and basically you read that and you're like, I don't, for one, I don't really understand this because it's all these different terms which aren't really accessible to a Western person. There's always different conditions. It just seems like no wonder people think herbs are boring and not exciting because, for me, when I was reading about herbs, I would read books on Chinese herbs, and it's like listing the functions of these herbs, and I'm like, this is the most boring, dry stuff I've ever read. Herbs are stupid. But in my gut, I'm thinking herbs are cool and exciting, but I just reading these books, it's so boring, and no wonder people don't like herbs. No wonder you go to a mainstream American and they say, "Oh, do you consume herbs?" They're like, "No, why would I?" If they're boring, they're silly, they're dangerous, and somewhere in between. And then you read things like adaptogens, you read things like books by Ron Teeguarden, you read other texts of a similar nature, and you start to discover this other point of view, which I mentioned, which is, things like Russian athletes, things like Chinese Olympians, things like Chinese emperors, things like royalty around the world consuming these herbs for enhancement, for increasing adaptability, for building up reserves of energy, for building up spiritual energy, for cultivating essentially the three treasures of Jing, Qi, and Shen. Yet if you read most mainstream herb books, you read the Materia Medica, you talk to a lot of practitioners, and they're coming from this dry, kind of boring, strictly medical point of view, which definitely has its place, and I'm not knocking. I'm just pointing out here how there's these two kind of different points of view. One is really old, and one is really seemingly new, but also kind of very old. So what I mean by that is we think we're on the cutting edge of taking herbs for enhancing our adaptability, increasing our athletic power, but really in Russia, they've been doing it for quite a while. They're the first ones that really start studying adaptogens. China, they've obviously been doing it a lot longer. I'm sure in India they've been doing as well. And all over the world, people have been using plants to enhance their adaptability, to enhance their biological functioning, to enhance their mental, emotional, or spiritual, energetic functioning, however you want to look at it. Now, obviously, we need to point out that no herb is good for everyone. No herb is good for everyone in every situation. And there are certain situations where you should lay off of tonic herbs. You catch certain immune things, you get sick in certain ways, yeah, you should lay off of herbs. Now, there are even exceptions to that because, for example, I've been sick and I've been just laid out where I can't even move. I feel like I'm dying. I feel like someone's punching me in the head just beating me, and I'm just laying here just hoping I can feel better. And I remember, oh, I have a bottle of reishi, or I have 90 capsules. Now to the TCM practitioner, they say, no, reishi is a tonic. If you're sick and you take a tonic, it's going to tonify that sickness and make you worse. So what did I do? Okay, reishi is it's going to have these amazing effects on my immune system. So I'm going to take, 60, 90 capsules. And what do you know? 15 minutes later, I open my eyes and feel a lot better. The next day, feel really good. A couple days later, feel excellent. And this has happened to me a few different times, so where I start to feel something, boom, get on the medicinal mushrooms, and you know what? It's gone soon. Not just for myself, people I've worked with, people that I talk to, and people that, have just come to me and say, what should I do? I don't want to get sick. They do it and it works, and it doesn't make them worse. It actually makes them better. It actually makes them stronger, and they're far less likely to get sick again because their immune system is getting stronger. Now that's obviously an apparent contradiction, and if a lot of Chinese practitioners are probably watching that freaking out saying, oh my god, he's just tonified this evil in this person's body. In reality, it's worked for me a lot, and I haven't been sick in years. And when I did get sick years ago, that's what I did, and it knocked things out quickly and easily and effectively. So I don't want to ramble anymore, but the point is, there's these 2 points of view. They're there, they exist. I wanted to point them out. I wanted to bring them forward so you can see them, and hopefully when you're out there doing research or figuring out what's right for you, figuring out what you should take, and you see them, you're not confused and you're not scared, because you realize, yes, there are these 2 points of views. And if you want to learn more, definitely this book is really interesting, has a lot of really good information about it, both about adaptogens, both about traditional usage. The actual information on herbs is pretty good too. They list a lot of different things. Ron Teeguarden's book, Radiant Health, is very good. I don't actually have a copy of it. I just have this big practitioner edition version, but you just go to Amazon, you can get both of these books for cheap and learn a lot more. So hopefully that's been helpful. It's probably going to annoy some people, probably going to make some people mad, but I didn't invent these theories. I'm just pointing them out to you because I've seen them in my research, and I've had them both come at me from different points of views, and I've just kind of had to observe them and deal with them just like you and everyone else that's living in this age of information. So if you have any questions or comments, post them below, and I'll talk to you soon.